Moving into the Game Boy titles, we have our cover game, Metroid II, The Return of Samus. This time you're going to the homeworld of the Metroids, SR-388, to wipe them out, or at least reduce their numbers. The article has an overall map of the area, plus maps of the first 3 phases of the planet that you'll go through. Interestingly, to prevent secret breaking, the world is lava that blocks access to certain areas. Defeat enough Metroids and an earthquake will happen, opening up more of the map to explore. So you have to get through so many Metroids in order to progress. I wonder how that affects speedrunning, if anyone's speedrunning this game. Metroid 2 was a really good adaptation of the original Metroid's Game Boy to a portable system, and basically doing the thing that you need to do when you make a game portable. Make it something that you can play in chunks. It adds save points to the game, and moves the gameplay from hunting down bosses in fairly large regions of the planet to hunting down and killing individual Metroids. Thus, the gameplay gets moved into a bite-sized form, where the player can decide on one particular sitting to explore until they find the next Metroid, and then kill that Metroid on that outing, or wait till the next. That, combined with using thresholds of Metroid slain to unlock more of the map, works great from a gameplay standpoint. The one thing I think this game needs, though, is an auto map, since, as I discussed previously, being on the go is not always conducive to drawing your own map and keeping track of where you are on that map. It's the same reason why in the GBA Metroidvania games that the whole map visible through a subscreen. It's definitely the kind of thing where, if we had gotten a remake of this game for the GBA, in the way that we got a remake of the original Metroid in the form of Zero Mission, it would definitely add the experience of the game to add a auto map available through the select menu or what have you, and would certainly make the game more enjoyable. Next is Ninja Gaiden Shadow, which started its life as a Game Boy port of Shadow the Ninja before Tecmo bought the game and reskinned it into a Ninja Gaiden game. We get maps of the first 5 stages, with the implication there's more after it. First off, the platforming elements in this game are probably significantly less than those in the Ninja Gaiden series. And by probably, I mean definitely. I mean, there's certainly some platforming here, but I wouldn't describe the platforming as the focus of the game. Instead, the focus is on proceeding slowly forward and setting up your attacks against enemies. Sort of like Dark Souls with ninjas. Speaking of which, why doesn't that exist yet? This doesn't make the game bad by any means, it doesn't feel quite like a Ninja Gaiden game. That and the total lack of the cinematic cutscenes that made the earlier titles in the series stand out. I mean, again, it's not bad, certainly worth playing, definitely a worthy addition to your library for the Game Boy, but it's not what I'd call something that feels like a perfect adaptation of the Ninja Gaiden experience on a portable platform. Rounding out the Game Boy titles, we have the Game Boy version of Hudson's Adventure Island. We have gameplay notes, but no level maps specifically. This is probably the easiest game of the entire Adventure Island franchise I've played thus far. It is almost a cakewalk. I understand that difficulty for games on portable systems needs to be adjusted for on-the-go gameplay. I've even mentioned this specifically myself, where I've encountered games that needed to do this adjustment. However, this is definitely not what I was thinking of. I almost think developers went too far here. I'm not expecting a controller-breaking level of difficulty, but for an Adventure Island game, there's a certain amount of difficulty that I expect from the game. And at the very least, I was expecting to die at least once as I made my way through the first island. That didn't happen here. In the classified information column, we have a bunch of tips for Castlevania Adventure 2, including a code to start with 10 lives instead of 3, and secret rooms for all 4 of the main castles. Returning to the Super Nintendo, we now have a guide for Pilot Wings, another SNES launch title. We have notes on the different vehicles that you'll fly, as well as some of the flight lessons you'll run into in early game areas. Much as with Baseball Simulator 1000, I was unable to get this game to work. I'm sorry. I was looking forward to playing this too, so I'm bummed out by this. Next up is Peter Molyneux's first game on consoles, albeit a port of a PC game, with Populous. We have notes on the gameplay mechanics and the game interface. I can't make heads or tails of this game's controls. I don't know if this is a situation where the game is unplayable without the manual, or the port is just really that bad, but I can't figure out how to do anything in this game. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing in the tutorial. Heck, if this is supposed to be a tutorial, it's not telling me anything about what I should be doing. This is just a whole big pile of disappointment. We have the results of the Ultimate Game Boy Design Contest, where readers of Nintendo Power are tasked with, basically, designing a custom skin for the Game Boy. Of the first prize winners, my favorite is, and I'm going to mangle this name, Les Douangs. It feels like something that would go really well with the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong Country, had that game been out when this issue came out. On the runner-up side of things, Chris Ellsbury's reminds me of a visual motif I saw a lot on Nintendo promotional products from back in the day. In particular, a pair of Nintendo tennis shoes I had when I was in kindergarten or first grade. Yes, I had a pair of Nintendo tennis shoes. There's a reason why I'm doing this show. In the Now Playing column, Paperboy 2 has come to the NES as well, along with another Capcom licensed Disney game with Tailspin. In the Top 30 column, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, which I'm not sure is out yet, has entered the list. In the Celebrity Profile column, we have another less well-known, though still active and somewhat well-known person, with Mayim Balik, whose name I also have mangled, and I apologize, who at this time is star of the TV show Blossom. She has gone on to get her doctorate in neuroscience before returning to acting to play the neuroscientist Dr. Amy Fowler on The Big Bang Theory. Wrapping up this issue, in the Pack Watch column, we have another Simpsons game on the way with Bart vs. the World, along with the next installment in the Mega Man franchise with Mega Man 4, and on the SNES front, we have a 16-bit version of Super Off-Road, along with the Super Nintendo version of Smash TV. For my picks of this issue, I'm going with Metroid II on the Game Boy. With something like the Super Game Boy or Game Boy Player or the Retron 5, I think the game would work incredibly well for at-home play. I'm not sure how well it would work on the go, though, in terms of drawing your own maps and keeping track of where you are on them. For a close second, I would definitely give ActRaiser. So, next issue, we get an overhaul of the look and feel of the magazine. And, well, we didn't get a Nestor's Awards this year, so we'll see what happens with next year. And, other than that, well, at the time this episode goes out, my 24-hour live stream for Extra Life is imminent. So, now is as good a time as any to head to the link below for my Extra Life page and donate money to help Doernbecher Children's Hospital. All money donated will go directly to help Doernbecher, so definitely help chip in. Additionally, if you want some in a day's entertainment, please feel free to check out my live stream on my Twitch channel on November 7th. Link again will also be below in the show notes. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.